South African citizenship illegally, because there's actually a way of finding out if you are here illegally. 9 out of 10 times, what they do is they steal someone's identity or they use a dead person's identity. So there's a way of also tracking that down at Home Office. There are ways of getting around that. So for me, one of the things that South Africans have to do is look into that as well, especially the government, because there's a way of tracking these documents down. Because a lot of people who are committing crimes with South African identities overseas, many of them were found to be illegal immigrants. That's what happened. And there's actually a way of tracking that down at Home Affairs. So for me, that can be solved. Those are one of the things we need to look into. The border, I think we need to look into corrupt officials that are assisting illegal immigrants in coming into our country. And another thing, we need to also put up a fence, because some people are actually coming through the fence. It's not always the case that people are walking straight through the border. It's been proven. It's been shown many times that there are many people running across the border or cutting a hole in a fence and running through the fence. That's something that we need to look into. So, like an electric fence that shocks you before you even touch it is important. So we need something like that. We need electric fences, something that'll prevent people from coming in, border control, landmines if it has to be, but whatever needs to be there has to be there. And of course, the corruption at the border gates, the corruption at Home Affairs, in terms of selling people like our South African identities, that also really, really needs to be looked into. There's actually a way of actually tracking those people down. Getting South African citizenship legally is really difficult. It's not as simple as just paying for it. So we can do those things. So for me, it's that the border control, what do you call, like the corruption at Home Affairs and at the border. The electric fence needs to be put up, and we need to make sure that we as South Africans hold our own government accountable, because I think what I've come to realize is that we have no control what happens in Zimbabwe and other African countries. And then another thing, I think not just Zimbabwe and Mozambique, but I think there needs to be a fence around what is it, Lesotho, and around Lesotho and Swazi, because a lot of Lesotho nationals are doing a lot of dirt here as well. So they're very problematic. Some of them, they're the ones that shot at our people in Pimville, Soweto, like last week Monday. So we need to really look into those things as South Africans. We really need to shut down those borders. We need to put some sort of electric fence around Lesotho as well, and also have the army circulating there. We need to make sure that no one from outside of South Africa can just have free, easy entry into our country. And most importantly, we need to hold the government accountable, and we need to vote the ANC out and put in a government that's really interested in solving this problem, because the ANC doesn't seem to be interested in solving this problem for whatever reason. So we have to find a way of voting them out. And I think another reason the South Africans need to be wary of is that I think what the government is doing is that they're trying to use foreign nationals to vote for them in the future. So that's something that we also need to look into. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Josie Gold. There's some people who have not yet spoken. I have, okay, Bongs, I'm going to open your mic.
Hi, Ziggy.
Hello.
Okay. Hi to all the listeners. You know what? I've been listening to your shows and even previously on your YouTube videos, and I actually wanted to know from all your encounters with South Africans and obviously international people as well as Zimbabwean folk, what is your deduction? I know that your question basically based on this video is what is the solution? I wanted to know from you, with everything that you've been listening to, what do you think is a solution for Zimbabwean folk or the SA side? Just quick question. I just want to understand, just brief.
Okay, as the moderator, I would rather leave it to you, my friends, to tell me what you think, you know.
Okay, okay.
But
Um,
definitely I will give you my own take on this, because I think I'm the one who has been following everything and
hmm,
picking up everything that people have been saying. So for now, I just want to listen to you, my friends. What do you think, and what are the possible solutions to the problems that we have?
okay. Well, on my side, let me just give you a brief like background. I'm from the Eastern Cape, right? I lived in the Eastern Cape for some time and I grew up there. And living there, I was not exposed to all this. Now, let's go back to 2008, where I saw on the news that a lot of South Africans were committing crimes against foreign nationals. And I used to look at that and feel like, you know what? These people, no, man, why are we so like xenophobic? This is disgusting. What are these people doing? And fast forward now, when I moved to Johannesburg, where I didn't have a job, I lived in Randburg, Johannesburg, and going to the CBD, I started seeing a lot of foreign nationals who had owned a lot of businesses. I saw foreign nationals who were able to, thrive in the city, whereas I was looking for a job and I couldn't even find in my own CBD where I was living. And then now to continue with that is that I realized that whatever it is that I was thinking at the time, where I was living at home comfortable, where my parents were feeding me, it was all good. And also in Port Elizabeth at the time, you could, after high school, you could go and work at a shop during your school holidays. That was amazing for me because I was able to then grow and actually learn a lot about being in a workplace and being exposed to the like the whole culture of actually working. But when I came to Johannesburg, it was a whole different ball game because I started seeing that the doors were closed for me and I didn't understand why,
Mm,
like otherwise, you know what I mean. But I also came now to a realization. I don't know if I am being xenophobic. I'm not going to say I'm not being xenophobic, but I'm going to say that it dawned on me that no, man, why is it like this over here? And then I started questioning a lot of things that people were feeling at the time when I used to judge them. A lot of South Africans were talking about these things. And I also watched another space. I think it was a space or a YouTube video where all these European people, as well as people who were from Nigeria but living in Canada, people from all these countries living in other places, were talking about how South Africans are. And I realized that I don't know if I sound like these people that hadn't experienced what I've experienced myself, where I used to judge people because I didn't experience anything on the ground. Now, remember, I'm staying in Randburg. My encounters with Zimbabwean people has always been good, but
mm,
I won't say the same thing about Nigerian folk because there's a place in Randburg called um, Little Lake. Well, we call it Little Lagos, but that's where all Nigerians where basically reside and they do their
mm,
business. And when you walk past, you get asked, "Oh, my size. Do you want to have some of this?" Meaning they're selling us things that are not necessarily legal. Everyone knows what that is. That's my exposure. With Zimbabwean folk, I've lived with them. Even a tenant of mine who just is currently moving out because his wife is currently pregnant. He told me that he moved to South Africa. Within a month, he already had a job.
mm,
Remember that. I experienced where I stood for like a year looking for a job and I couldn't find one. But this night, this Zimbabwean folk who literally came from Harare, and he told me that he found a job after a month because he knew someone that hooked him up with a job, and that's how we became like basically came to South Africa. That makes me feel, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with that, Sikia. And it's yes,
mm,
you can say that I'm maybe xenophobic for feeling that way, but for someone to just come in through easily and just get a job, and I'm just sitting back and thinking I struggled, and I know so many people who were struggling behind me. How does that work? And listening to all these spaces as well as YouTube videos and people bashing South Africa, they're telling us we're stupid, we're not educated, we're not good enough, we don't deserve these jobs. How do
mm,
you then say to yourself, like, okay, you know what? A solution is to say, let's give our brothers all these things and give them access to things because we understand where they're coming from. But then you go to Little Lagos, you see all those Nigerian folks selling drugs, and then you go into your phone, you get an SMS saying Mr. What Mr. John, you just want something because it's a scam. And then you also
Mm,
hear about the things that are in the townships. I would say mostly in the townships, because that's where all our Zimbabwean folk are carrying out these things. But I haven't been exposed to them, obviously, because I stay in Randburg. So I just want to understand, what is your solution? Hence, I even asked you. It's easy for
mm,
someone like myself. I can admit that I used to think South Africans are xenophobic. South Africans are so lazy. South
mm,
Africans are not doing what they need to do, until I came and actually stepped away from my parents' house and I experienced it on the ground. And that's when I realized that actually, you know what? I was just super privileged and I shouldn't have even spoken. So, what the heck was I thinking? And now we have someone from America who just went on to this your show and then started speaking about how we sound like apartheid people, like Indonile. But otherwise, because he hasn't been exposed, and you should also think all these people that have been listening to these shows and have to say that South Africans are like they're abnormal and everything, you have to start understanding, like, what are they talking? Why is it that all of them are starting to feel this way? There's obviously a reason behind it, and
mm.
yeah, it might not be good, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Bongs. I'm going to open for Umkond.
Hello,
Let
everyone.
me, okay, hello.
Hello.
You're welcome. Okay, go ahead, please. Your mic is muted. Oh, okay. You are still in there?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ziki. Thank you, everyone. Okay. I'm actually here for the solution. But before we talk about the solution, we really need to face the reality. And then I think the main problem why there is what we call xenophobic in inverted commas for that is labeling to us as South Africans is because first of all we are ignorant, or we usually focus our, or we get our information from the media. We ignore the people from the ground. That's the reality. That's the main problem. We always ignore the reality. And then another problem, before we talk about the solution, is that the people, the so-called people that came here legally, so Zimbabweans, Nigerian, whoever, they always or every time when these things rise, they always, without even understanding the content, they always in the side of the illegal migrant. And then that's where the
Mm,
problem is, because it makes those people, the ground forces, the people that live within these problems, it makes them feel like they are stupid. The media is the one that is fueling these things. And then if we keep on ignoring these issues, I'm telling you, this so-called xenophobic will never end. And right now, South Africans and so many South Africans are fed up. And the main problem is because there is high unemployment rate in South Africa. And it makes South Africans, because most South Africans, they have got degrees and they are not working. And these illegal immigrants, they are working, and it boils up. And most of South Africans right now, as we speak, they will retaliate, and it will be ugly. And I'm not saying this thing out of anger or anything of that, but that's how I've realized. If you look at people like Puntanta Lax, you can realize that these people are fed up, and some of them, they end up now becoming militant, and it will never be nice. And we don't want to see another Homoto Diale or another Unyati. We don't want to see any other person dying. But we are saying to you guys, before you can talk about the solution, can you please listen, and without judging, listen to the people that live in the townships? Because most of us, we live in the town, we live in the so-called suburbs, we live in the gated community. We always ignore the people that live among these people. that are illegal. And then that's where the problem is. Let us first understand in Soweto right now, that's where I'm from originally. In Soweto right now, there's no train. Why? Because the illegal immigrant, not to say South Africans are not also, there are some South Africans that are also involved, but we are telling you the fact that there are Zimbabweans that are stealing cables. In Soweto, most of Soweto right now is dark because of they are no cables. They've stole cables. The trains are not working there. Number two, we have this thing called we know the Lesotho National, for example, we know that they are doing illegal mining. They call it whatever. These people, we know that Nigerians are selling drugs. We know that Zimbabweans are also, they are busy doing a lot of illegal things, including what do you call these things? All those sort of things. I'm talking about illegal. I'm not talking about legally. So because most legal people that came here from other national countries or from other Zimbabweans or whatever, most legal people, they are doing things according to the law because they know that their fingerprints, everything is there. And then every time, whenever people are saying Zimbabweans are doing the illegal Zimbabweans are doing these things, we always hear someone who will call you and say, no, but no, Zimbabweans have helped you, whatever. That's nonsense. Let us first listen to the people. Let's not ignore people from the ground, because the moment you ignore people from the ground, those people, they right now, internet is no longer a luxury. They can have access of this internet. They have access of this information. And then if you keep on saying that they are stupid because you are elite people or whatever, you keep on ignoring their problems. These people, they will rise. And the day they will rise, there will be a problem. We have got Wuntlandlalas. Now these people start to arm themselves. And then this is not what we want. We cannot talk about the solution before we can raise the problem. And then we have got ignorant or arrogant Zimbabweans, arrogant Nigerians that keep on saying South Africans are xenophobic. How can we become xenophobic if we welcomed you guys? We know in 2008, because we know that in Zimbabwe, 2008, there was hyperinflation. Most of you have lost millions and billions or whatever. We welcomed you. We know the economy in Zimbabwe became a problem there in 2008. There was hyperinflation because they sanctioned your Zimbabwe. But we have got so much people that are ignorant, and then so many people we welcome. If you go to Limpopo, so many villages there welcome most of your Zimbabweans. Whether Shonas, whether whatever. Now you're talking of Africans, hey, we must be Africans or whatever. We know that if we go to Zimbabwe, for example, I lived in Zimbabwe, I know Zimbabwe. I know that there's a problem of Matabele and the Shonas. They are not getting along, and we know the history. We cannot talk of Africanism. We know that we are tribalists ourselves. You cannot entertain this thing of saying we must open borders and listen to people, stupid people like Malim, who thinks that he's smart but is very stupid. Let's first deal with uniting each other from our own countries, because we know that there is a problem. You Zimbabweans, we know that there is a problem of Shonas and Debeles. We can go to each and every country. At least if we're talking of Lesotho, we know that at least there's one language that is Lesotho, that is spoken there. At least those people, in terms of language, they are united. But whenever people are, please, let's first realize that there is a problem. And then this is, go to Nigeria. I've been to Nigeria myself. I know there's a problem there. And then now you want to open borders. We have seen what is happening there in the North Mozambique. We have seen Boko Haram. We have seen Al Shabaab and all those people in all those countries. If you open borders in Zimbabwe, you open borders in South Africa, that problem that is there is still gonna be our problem. If you open borders today, we have Ebola in whatever, that Ebola is gonna be our problem as well here. because there will be a free movement. So that is the problem. I hear stupid people saying that, hey, this borders hey, it was from Europe, whatever. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. Even if it was Europe, from Europe, can we first deal with our own problems from, because the moment now you start to invite others and all those things, it's a disaster. South Africa itself is still having a problem on its own. The South Africans themselves, they have got the Zulus is having a problem with Xhosas. The Xhosas is having a problem with Vendas and Tongas. The moment now you start to include the Shonas, you include the Ndebeles, and you include all those people, now it is going to be a more disaster. You cannot talk of Pan-African if you are not talking about, let's first deal with our own problems. We know what is happening. We know Mugabe, we know what happened in 2000, 2001 in Zimbabwe, when you guys, I mean, when I'm saying you guys, I mean your leaders, when they said, when they allowed, they said, take the land. The land is not even working for you as Zimbabweans. Zeki, now today as we speak, you are in China. I am in UK right now. You are in China. Most Zimbabweans are in wherever, they are scattered all over. Why? Because the land is not working for them. But you keep on saying, Malema, the very stupid Malema is keep on saying land. How is land helping us? If you go to Soweto, that's where I come from, Soweto myself. I'm telling you, Ziki, Soweto is a problem. And then if this thing keeps on, and this thing, the media keeps on fueling these things, it makes people to get more angry. And people will retaliate. And then now we'll talk about guns and all that. That's not what we want. Look at Bunkantalax. Now they're arming themselves. And then tomorrow when they kill someone, I'm not saying I'm entertaining, but tomorrow when they kill someone, you will say those people are xenophobic. But these people have been asking, have been calling over and over and saying, we have got a problem of illegal immigrants. And the problem is not really illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants, when they come to South Africa, they start to do illegal things. They start to be arrogant. They start to do illegal activities. That is where the problem is. Because we understood 2008 when when did xenophobic start? It started in 2008. Why? Ask yourself why, Ziggy. It happened because Zimbabwe 2008 there was hyperinflation. So meaning there was many of you that came to South Africa illegally. So and then when you came to South Africa, you started to do whatever you wanted to do. I'm not saying you personally. I'm saying the Zimbabweans illegal.
We understand, yes.
Yes, and
Oh,
that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is, because right now we must listen to the people from the townships. I hear last week, 2 weeks back, I follow you, Zig. I heard last week or 2 weeks back or something, there was this guy from Zimbabwe who was saying they didn't kill, the Zimbabweans, they didn't kill our people in Deep Sloot. We understood that there was a killings before Unyati. And then that killing was caused by a Zimbabwean national, in Limpopo, a Zimbabwean national who confessed. He said he killed 7 South Africans. 7 South Africans. And then you never heard of it on the news. This news, this media is the one that is fueling this problem. Because the media, it keeps on, they want to because you must understand that this media, they've got businesses in Zimbabwe. Tawambegi came to Zimbabwe in 2008 when there was a problem there. Was it 2008, 2009? And he said everything is fine. And he was lying. He said everything is fine. And then that's where the problem is. Because this politician, they've got businesses, they've got businesses and mines in Zimbabwe. They keep on saying Zimbabweans must come to South Africa to cause havoc. When they cause havoc, this thing, especially the people like Malema, because they are winning, they are making billions, and you Zimbabweans and all the other countries of South Africa, You must understand that these politicians are the ones that they don't like us. They are
Mm.
actually dividing us more, because that's why the problem, if a Zimbabweans is creating, it's causing problems. As Zimbabweans must stand and say, not with our name, we are isolating you because you are doing things that are illegal. If a South African is doing things that are wrong, we as South African, we must say, hey, that person, we are isolating you. But the problem is that when a Zimbabwean person is doing things that are wrong, you will hear Zimbabweans defending that person. When a Nigerian is doing the same, the things that are wrong, and we know it's not a secret that Nigerians are selling drugs. It's not a. Well, how will you feel if a Nigerian or whoever comes and sell your children drugs? If I use my gun to defend myself, to defend my community, then they call me xenophobic. What nonsense is that? What nonsense is that? You can't do that. You know yourself as Ziki that you can't do illegal things in China, because you know that in China, if you do things that are illegal, you are in a problem. You going to regret. I know that in UK where I am right now, if I do things that are illegal, hey, they will arrest me. And not even if not because another problem is your official, the so-called officials who went to when they killed Unyati, of which I understood. But you can't go there. Your son of PF, your whatever, you whatever. They go there and they start to act smart. They start to say, hey, no, you can't kill our. You must first understand the problem.
Mm.
We know it was not the right thing to do to kill Unyati, but people were angry. And people usually they retaliate. And this thing
Mm.
of saying is Afrophobic because we have a problem of Bangladesh, people from Bangladesh, people from Pakistan. Pakistan, Bangladesh, the last time I remember, it's not Africa, it's in Asia. They also have a tendency of messing up our countries. And then I'm saying these things, Ziki, because I'm saying the media because that is what happened
Mm.
in America. That's what happened in America when people said Black Lives Matter. The people on the media were painting Africans and black Americans or African Americans as if they are stupid. But the day those people start to rise, that will be a problem. You start to name them things. These people are not stupid. These people have got this internet, this access. People from Deep Sleuth right now, some of them, they are listening to you. Some of them are among us in this conversation. And then when someone who comes, who is in Harare, for example, or someone who's in Bulawayo today, or in Abuja, or whatever, who doesn't understand the problems of South Africa, the problems of Deep Flute to be specific, or the problem of Soweto, that person calls you and then he start to name those people like they are stupid. Someone who calls from 4 ways in the gated community, who lives with that security, he calls you and say those people from Deep Flute are stupid. You know they have got a problem, those people, because they don't understand the situation that these people are living. These people are, because you are living in a gated community. In a gated community, Ziki, if you go there, you just jump the cage. I'm telling you, the security will murder you. Murder you meaning they will
Mhm.
beat you. They'll beat the hell out of you. That's
Okay,
the
Madam
problem.
Con.
Thank you, Ziki. Let me
Okay,
give
thank
other
you so
people.
much for your contribution.
Let me
If we
give
still
other
have
people
time, I'll
to.
add you later on. Right now, I'm going to go back to my sister, the talking Safa. I don't know if they're still in the stream.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you